Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today what I'm going to be going on with is I'm just going to show you a bit of a sneak peek on what the tabletops are going to look like for this upcoming 1813 water campaign battle revolving around to the west of Berlin. As you may be aware, as part of the campaign there's been a massive battle to the south of Berlin around Grossbeeren and Blankenfeld. We fought those battles, they've concluded. But while those battles were occurring, simultaneously there was a larger battle taking place to the west of Berlin. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we've, predominantly how I've produced the tabletops that will be used by Dom from Boots on the Table, Roundy and Josh from Dicey Tactics, and Steve over at Basement 1908, and obviously what I'll be using on this channel to fight these battles out. So without further ado, let's go and have a look to see how we've done that. Okay guys, let's just go through, let's have a bit of a peek behind the curtain. And I'm going to explain to you how we've come together, how we've created the War Games tables that we've got for these upcoming battles. So to start with, we needed a map, something to work off. So the map that we're using is, I obtained, someone suggested a link to this website, maps.arcuman.com/en/maps Northern Germany 1877. Anyway, this is the maps we've got, and essentially what I did is I focused in on where I was coming from the position of Napoleon the French, and we have Potsdam over here. This is Potsdam here, and basically we were advancing towards Berlin, which is this big smudge on the map here, and essentially the coalition forces got wind. There was a movement of French troops, and they've sallied out of Berlin, and they were all garrisoned around here. They've formed up and they've come out of Berlin, and they've advanced as far as Zellendorf, which is this town here, and to their north, what we can see here is the terrain is pretty dodgy. Quite large waterways, heavily wooded. So they've come down this road here, hit Zellendorf, and then debounced off that line of march, and they've moved off and formed a battle line from Zellendorf down to Rulsdorf. So this is where they are. So that's how I determined where we would be fighting the battle. It just seemed to make the most sense. That's a good defensive line there for the Allies. I think they were under, or I've been given, led to believe that they probably thought that what was coming towards them was a force of equal size or close to it. But obviously then we had the battle to the south at Grossbeeren and Blankenfeld. So this was the battles, that area in here. So if we did a map around, like a line around where the battle that Steve and I fought, Lapitev and Tautzen, that was in this area here. At the same time as this battle's going on, as we are now about to launch into, we have the battle here to the west of Berlin, and it would be, the tables would be around this area here. Okay, and so what I've done is, from this I've created some War Games maps, and basically it's a very stylized map, but it just basically gives gives you an idea of what we're looking at here. So essentially what we have is four maps or tabletops. This is the northern battlefield, and this is where Poniatowski's 8th Corps will be fighting against the Swedes. and this battle you'll see on Dominic's Boots on the Table YouTube channel, and that's going to be a battle there. So the French-Polish 8th Corps versus the Swedes. Here we're going to have a battle between Lauriston's, I think it's the 5th Corps off the top of my head. I'll confirm later, but Lauriston's French troops will be fighting against Bulau's Prussians, and that's the town of Teltow, a smaller town called Schonau. There's a little farm over here, wooded area, hills. They have windmills on these hills here, and there's a little swampy area here and a stream through here, which takes me conveniently onto my table near Starnsdorf. We have a chateau / farmhouse here, high ground here, a little bit of high ground on this side of the table, high ground here and here, wooded areas, and this is where the Imperial Guard Corps plus the young, so you've got maybe predominantly the old guard regiments, some foreign guard regiments that have been attached to the Guard Corps. I'm talking about Saxon Guard Grenadiers, the Polish Guard Grenadier Guards that were formed during the 1813 campaign, some Württemberg Guard troops and the like, plus a lot of Guard cavalry. These are under the direct command of Napoleon, but you have Mortier and Mouton commanding the French troops here. And then we get over to the far right table. This will be a divisional level war game, which Roundy from Dicey Tactics, he and Josh in New Zealand, they will fight their way through the Iroquois orcs with the help of some hobbits, set up this table here, and they'll play their game there. And then they'll use great eagles to fly that up to the internet for you to watch. And so that is the table that they're fighting on, and that's a divisional level General Army game. I'm not too sure what Dom's doing, if he's going to break this down into a divisional game and make it representative of the core battle here. Either way, I'm sure it'll be a hoot, and that's what you'll see there. But these two battles here are going to be core level battles. The troops that are involved, let me just pull up the spreadsheet just to give you an idea what's on my table. For the French, we have the Imperial Guard Corps, which has 2 infantry divisions. These units here that are highlighted in blue, those 2 regiments of the Imperial Guard have been detached and sent to support Lauriston's battle over here on this table here. But the rest of all this is all going to be on my table, together with these 2 brigades of artillery plus all this guard cavalry here. So you have Gendarmes Elite, Grenadiers de Cheval, Empress Dragoons, the Polish Lancers, the Dutch Lancers, the Lancers de Berg, Chasseurs Cheval de la Garde Impériale, both old and young guard squadrons, Baden Hussars, and then a heavy cavalry brigade of cuirassiers and carabiniers. And then, of course, you've also got the Eclairs of the Guard, the Guards d'Honneur, and some German cavalry regiments. Then, most of the heavy lifting on my table, however, will be done by Marshal Mouton's Young Guard Corps. And what we have here is 2 divisions, the 7th and the 8th Division. Each division has 3 brigades, and each brigade has 4 battalions of Young Guard. There is a 9th Division in this corps, but you'll see here that 1 entire brigade has been sent to fight, to assist Poniatowski, 1 to Lauriston, and 1 has been sent to help with the division that is fighting on Dicey Tactics table. So what Dicey Tactics has, he has from Lauriston's, we just scroll through, this 30th Division is going to be fighting, pardon me, this 30th Division will be fighting on the Dicey Tactics table, which is to the south down here. Well, allow me to move my camera over here on this battlefield here. So that's what you're going to see happening on that table. And this is going to be on Steve's table. So if it's highlighted in this yellowy color, it's more like, I think it's classed as gold. That's going to be on Dom's table. Did I just say Dom's table? I'm an idiot. Just to clarify, 30th Division, that's on Roundy's Dicey Tactics table. So this 30th Division, that's going to be fighting on that table. And these two blue divisions here, the 31st and the 32nd, they're fighting on Steve's table. So you have Pouthold and Rochambeau. And he'll also have, like I said, a Young Guard Brigade plus 2 battalions of the Old Guard there. And then obviously there's cavalry as well. Also on Dicey Tactics table, he's got these 3 batteries of artillery and these regiments of light cavalry. They've also been sent a brigade of guard cavalry as well. So there's that. But I don't want to labour too much on their orders of battle. They'll explain them when they do their videos. The blue is on Steve's table. And then everything that is in orange, that's Poniatowski's, that's going to be on Dom's table. Okay. And so that's the maps. That's how I've created them. Now bear in mind, like I said, this is 1877. So I didn't have it. I couldn't find a map for 1813, but I imagine this is what it'd be pretty close to this. I only just discovered that you can actually slide this in, and this little thing up here. You can slide it in, and it actually shows you where the woods are and things like that. So I was there just going off these little icons. If I realised that, it would have made it much easier. But anyway, so that's how we've put together our tables for the upcoming battle. If you were to look at them, the tables would kind of be like this. It's not quite exact because the tables are actually orientated more like at an angle like that. With that's one side, and that's one base edge, that's another base edge. But you get the idea. Long story short, though, Dom's table, Steve's table, my table, Roundy's table. And what I've done here is this is the area where the French are maintaining their reserves. I've already sent, Napoleon has already sent a brigade of Young Guard there, a brigade of Young Guard there, and a brigade of Young Guard there. He's already sent 2 battalions of Old Guard to here also. And then most of the Old Guard are going to be held here. And then the Young Guard will be on here fighting against Windsgoroden. And then as the battles develop, if Roundy goes, oh, I'm getting my ass handed to me, I can send some some Old Guard off to that table. And so that's how Napoleon is intending to fight the battle, maintaining a very powerful reserve, and then fighting against the coalition forces along that front there. So I hope that helps to give you some idea of how we've gone around preparing this, how we've prepared the tables, why the tables will look like they do. The tables might vary a little. As I've said to the lads, hey, listen, just if you want to make them a little bit more interesting, by all means, just crack on, do what you want with them. We're working off pretty a lot of the the topography of the tables is a lot of it is to a degree guesswork on what it would look like in 1813, given that the map that I'm using is from 1877. So that's that. Okay, guys. Well, I hope that helps orientate you to the ground so that you can understand the relationship from one table to another. If you were to lay the table, if you were to lay the map down on the ground, you would see that, like I said, boots on the table, they're going to be playing on the northern table. Steve, Basement 1908, he's going to be fighting on the northern central table. I'm going to be fighting on the the southern central table, and on the southern table, we're going to have the guys over at Dicey Tactics playing a divisional game there. And that's essentially how it works. During the game, there's also what I'm going to be doing with my Napoleon hat on is I'm going to be maintaining a reserve because the Imperial Guard Corps is quite large with multiple brigades in it. I'm going to be keeping troops off table in a army reserve, and then if someone on their table is struggling, I can dispatch a brigade of troops to them. They won't arrive there instantaneously. For example, I'm closer to the southern table than I am to the northern table, so it would take one turn to get troops from my reserve deployment area into position on that southern table. So Dicey Tactics, Roundy over there, he could send me a message and say, I'm struggling, can you send me a brigade or whatever? And I'll go, yeah, it'll be there. What turn are you on now? Turn 5. It'll be there turn 6. And then off we go there. The northern table, where Dom's playing with Poniatowski's troop, they're further away, so it could take 2 or 3 turns. So that's the situation there. Again, 1 turn to get to Steve's table, Basement 1908's table. So that's how the troops, that's how the tables are laid out. This explains how the terrain is the way it is. Please don't be overly critical of if you compare the map with the terrain. You've got to understand, again, I reiterate, the map we're going off is an 1877 map. This is 1813 here, so there's over 50 years difference. And I've looked at the maps and I've tried to ascertain, okay, well, that's a rail line, that wouldn't be there. That seems to be a canal, so it seems to be under construction, so that wouldn't be there, or at least much of it wouldn't be there. So that's how we've come to the conclusions that we've come to. I hope you find this video helpful, particularly if you're going to watch the battles that are soon to be uploaded. This might help with some of the backstory to those battles. So we'll wrap it up there. If you found this, if you've got any questions, or if you found this video helpful, let us know. And again, if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. I enjoy answering the questions. Again, any kind of tactical advice, criticisms, whatever, throw them in there, and everybody have at it. There's nothing like a good old robust discussion. I love it. All right, we'll leave it there. I'll catch you on the next video. Yibakway.